Jesus were telling this parable today, I imagine he might not choose the identity Samaritan as the one who offered compassion, the one who was a neighbor. He might change that based on context, based on where he's telling the story. For example, if this story was told in Ukraine, the one offering compassion would be a Russian. If he was telling the story in Israel today, a Samaritan might still work because there are still Samaritans today and there's still animosity between Jewish people and Samaritans. But I think if Jesus was telling the story in Israel today, it would be a Palestinian from Gaza who would show compassion. And if he was telling the story in Gaza, the person showing compassion would definitely be an Israeli. What about here in the United States? I'm convinced if Jesus was telling the parable today, it would be the parable of the good undocumented immigrant, or the parable of the compassionate asylum seeker. That's what this parable would be. Because we're looking at the one considered other, considered outside, and we're learning what it is to be a neighbor to that person. And this is not easy. This is not easy. This is difficult. But I think this story of the Good Samaritan asks us to ask questions, to reflect. And I'm not saying that immigration is an easy thing to look at. It's a very complicated thing. There's many sides to it. But I think when we hear about people, I heard this, now, in the Catholic Church, actually going to church, going to Mass, is something that you're technically required to do. You're actually supposed to go. Strange, isn't it? If you don't go, that's actually not good. It goes against you. And because there are some people who don't have the right paperwork in this United States, one of the bishops in the Los Angeles area excused them from going to church if they don't feel safe. And in Los Angeles and here in Texas, there are people who are afraid to go to church right now. So the Good Samaritan prompts us to think and reflect about stories like that and what that might mean.